There should be no civil rights distinction, none whatsoever, between a committed gay couple and a committed heterosexual couple. Now, you realize that this is America, and that's why we can't call it gay marriage. Because this is America. You understand that? Here's what I would say. I would say that, especially the African-American church, when you celebrate this Sunday, when church begins on Sunday, and you celebrate and you praise God and you thank God for delivering us from evil, could you start down the road of making the congregation realize that there is a civil rights problem with a entire 10, 11% of our population who don't have access to their civil rights and never have in the history of this country. It's a long-term wrong that needs to be righted. Now, I understand that African Americans, I've said this to people who have argued with me about, white evangelicals, and leave out the fact that African Americans are some of the most religious people in this country. I'll tell you something, Reverend Wright, I know where his anger comes from. I mean, I'm so glad that the next generation, my generation, isn't that angry as his generation is. But you know why he was so angry? He was so angry because they were doomed and damned to second-class citizenship in his congregation. He was representing people that were that went into a prejudiced world every day. Now we have a problem in this country with another group of people who have not been able to access their civil rights. So I would urge black preachers, African American churches, to start embracing that concept as soon as possible, because we're going to need you. I know what the vote was in California. I know that 70% of African Americans voted against property. And that's not what made Proposition 8 pass. What made Proposition 8 pass was 85% of Republicans voting that way. That's what made it pass. It was an organized effort, predominantly spearheaded by the Mormon Church, which is another stunner when you consider it. I mean, the Mormon Church. This is a church that has probably the least understanding about it, and people still think that everyone in the Mormon Church is a polygamist. No, just the fundamentalists in the Mormon Church are polygamists. But the idea that if you extend gay marriage, suddenly polygamy is gonna become. I got news for you: polygamy is a choice. Being gay is not. It's not. Man on dog sex. Choice, bad one, really strange one. I got to tell you, can't. I'm not there yet. Maybe I don't know. I can't get there from here. I can't. I'll admit it. I'm prejudiced against people who want the man-on-dog thing. That's my prejudice. I'll have to deal with it. But the idea that extending civil rights to Americans who have done nothing wrong to you, will never do anything wrong to you, cost you nothing to accept in their glorious selves, is bizarre to me. It's a bittersweet part of this election. It really is. But 70% of African Americans did vote for Proposition 8. Now, I don't know how many didn't understand that they were amending the Constitution, revising the Constitution. I don't know how many knew it was going to be on the ballot. I don't know how many are instinctually predisposed. That's a prejudice against gay people and believe that God doesn't want it. There were people that said that God permitted and encouraged slavery. Not that I'm comparing the two situations. One is being owned by another man, which is just an atrocity. It is a human rights violation. But the other is an attitude that also keeps people from being able to access their civil rights. I'm sorry, work has got to be done on this. And now that African Americans know that everything is possible, you're going to have to drill down deep and find out why you don't think this is possible, why you don't think that, the Constitution is a secular document and that it should extend civil liberties to every American. Nobody wants to change your biblical beliefs. It's certainly not me. I never talk about religion. I don't like to. It's too damn personal. But in the area of civil liberties, I'm never going to stop fighting. because this is America. And what we're trying to do here is to build a more perfect union. And lots of people were left out of the experiment at the beginning, but slowly but surely we're becoming a country that includes people and gives them access to their civil liberties. And people have got to do some real hard work on that. I'm serious. That's just another area that isn't finished. It's not even, it started to get work done, and then, it was like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But we can do it. We can get there. We will get there. One of the things I discovered from reading Glenn Greenwald today was that the Defense of Marriage Act actually is the problem. And that is a piece of federal legislation. And Joe Biden, Barack Obama have stated their position on it. They don't think it's constitutional. They don't think that it's just. They feel that there should be absolutely no distinction between civil rights and the legal privileges of gay Americans as opposed to heterosexual Americans. I promise you that the Defense of Marriage Act will be one of those things that we'll make sure that gets done. And it will get done. And it will get done in the first term. Right now, I think that California is going to have to litigate it in California. I think the Supreme Court of California is not an unfriendly place to have it litigated. Florida Supreme Court is pretty damn good, too. I'm not familiar with Arizona, so you'll have to tell me whether or not your Supreme Court, whether is friendly or not friendly to civil rights. I like the Florida Supreme Court. I've always liked them. I think they're amazing. And California's not so bad either. Put it this way, Republicans hate the California Supreme Court. So that's what's going to have to happen for now. And there are people working on it, and I'm sickened by it. But I do want African Americans to understand where the pain is coming from in this audience. There is a lot of it, a lot of disappointment, and people don't understand it. I do, but I can't excuse it.